Alright, so this is target 2018 WJ, and what I'm going to do here is demonstrate the Tycho software on this data set. So go ahead and run up the synthetic tracker. So again, these are 140 files, or I'm sorry, 120 files. And so okay, this looks good for a static threshold, and I'm just using the same settings that were mentioned to me earlier. So so a start movement of 1, stop of 42, step size of 0.05, and then I put in these limits. Again, this is a known object, so we can narrow down the search parameters. So I click OK, and it's going to go through and find the object, and I've already run it before, so it takes about 20 seconds. So I'll go ahead and pause the video for a moment. Okay, so it finished, and its track number, there's only one track. Let me zoom out. So here's the position window, and you can see it's identified the NEOCP object. Alright, so what I did here was I divided the 120 exposures into 3 groups. So 0 to, let's do 39. Oh, and before I do that, let me go ahead and load up the star catalog. So I'm going to get the Vizier connection. Alright, so we have a star catalog, and that enables me to go ahead and create observations. Alright, so again, this is a stack of 40 images, so I'm going to double click create observation. So that's my first observation right there, and then I'm going to go from 40 to 79, and you'll notice, again, what it does by default is it says, okay, I'm going to center this rectangle, this crosshair based on the track motion. So it's not selecting necessarily the peak pixel by default. So but you have to do that. You have to double click to get it centered on the object. So I've debated whether or not to go ahead and have it automatically center on the peak pixel. There's pros and cons to that. But anyway, for now, you just double click on what you want to create an observation of, and that's going to center it on the peak pixel, and you get a good centroid that way. So click create observation. So now I have 2 observations, and then finally the last grouping here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I double click, didn't really have to do that this time, it was already centered, but I always double click just to make sure. So alright, so I have 3 observations, and I can, just to verify the performance, the astrometric performance, I can click on this MPC report. It's going to enable me, I put in the observatory code, it'll enable me to feed that into find orb pretty easily. So let's see if I can do that here. So okay, we have 0.57. So yeah, before it was coming up with 0.56, but that's just because I started my my image set from, I went from 0 to 40 rather than 0 to 39, and so anyway, it doesn't really make much difference. As you can see, it's comparable, it's 0.57 rather than 0.56. And as for the residuals, what I can do is pull up the ADES report and click OK. So I've already filled in some stuff there, and yeah, you'll notice that these are pretty good. So the highest is 0.13 for the RMS declination. So anyway, I think these are very good astrometric results. So I would certainly be confident in using them. So anyway, the only thing I can think of that might have gone wrong was if you hadn't if you hadn't double clicked on the object, for example, on this one, then it would have been off for sure. So you just got to make sure you center it. Alright, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching.